I'm going to hold it for 1 second, though, because we do have a bit of breaking news from Nancy Pelosi, and I want you guys to weigh in on this. She's writing back to the president, who said that he was going to show up for the State of the Union. She says, "Dear Mr. President, when I extended an invitation on January 3rd for you to deliver the State of the Union address, it was on the mutually agreed upon date of January 29th. At that time, there was no thought that the government would still be shut down. It is my further correspondence of January 16th. I said we should work together to find a mutually agreeable date when government has reopened, and I hope that we can still do that. I'm writing to inform you that the House of Representatives will not consider a concurrent resolution authorizing the President's State of the Union address in the House chamber until government has opened. Again, I look forward to welcoming you to the House on a mutually agreeable date for this address when government has been opened. Sincerely, Nancy Pelosi." I feel super weird reading letters back and forth between the President of the United States and the Speaker of the House, but I guess that's where we stand in 2019. Donna, she's saying that the President is not welcome to show up for the State of the Union or for what would have been the State of the Union on January 29th.
No, what she's saying is that she's exercising her authority and responsibility as a co-equal branch of government, and that as long as the government remains shut down and security is an issue, despite what the president said, then there will be no mutually agreed date on of the first letter. And I think that this is entirely appropriate. We need to get the government open, get it functioning the way that it should be, and then the president can address the nation. And after all, he should want to be able to stand up and say the state of the nation is healthy and strong. You can't do that when the government is shut down.
No, you cannot. Dave, this battle between Pelosi and Trump, what's it looking like on the 2020 trail?
It's a good question, because 2020 candidates, with the exception of Kirsten Gillibrand, don't talk that much about the president. He kind of looms in Democratic speeches and Q&As with voters like a cloud that's always there, a risk that's always there, but not something that they can react to every move by. That's generally the thought here. And there's a lot of enthusiasm for the way that Pelosi is handling this. I mean, I was on the trail in Iowa and South Carolina over the weekend, and the way that Democratic candidates dealt with this was, we should not give an inch to the president on something he promised that Mexico was going to fund. I don't think you hear any opinion in the Democratic primary saying Nancy Pelosi should cave or we should cut some sort of deal. It reminds me a little bit of what you heard from Republicans in 2015. It was a reason that Donald Trump did so well, that Ted Cruz did so well, because there is a fatigue with the kind of Democrats who are seen as rolling over anytime Republicans demand something. So that's how it's playing out there. And I think you see a lot of enthusiasm Pelosi in Nancy Pelosi's leadership, as epitomized by the CBS poll today. I mean, Democratic voters are foursquare behind her on the way she's handling this.
Dave, in your knowledge, has this ever happened before, where a House Speaker has declined to invite the President of the United States to deliver a State of the Union address?
Well, it hasn't. I think the last time a president didn't give one to Congress was 1944, when there was World War II going on, and until Woodrow Wilson, presidents just didn't give this speech to Congress. It was a letter they sent. It was a night of the week that everyone had a lot more free than they do now. So this is without precedent, but the shutdown rolling into this period is also without precedent. Again, undergirding all of this is that it is up to the Speaker of the House, and it's up to both chambers to pass a resolution inviting the other branch of government to come into Congress. The president can't just walk in, and you have to kind of wonder how much the White House understands this. This is a president who's often assumed he has powers that he doesn't actually constitutionally have, and has to be reminded by someone like John Kelly, and John Kelly's not there right now.
Dave, did the president underestimate Pelosi?
Well, I think he did, in the sense that he had a pretty pliant Republican House for a couple of years. I'd put it that way. One that would maybe a couple members would deliver a speech about how they didn't like him very much, but they'd go along with what he wanted. He's never been in a situation. Look, one of the downsides of coming from the private sector, and you see lots of people who enter politics from business end up bristling at this. They can get their way. They can walk out of a room and get a deal. That is not how the House works. And Pelosi's in a politically stronger position than he is in terms of getting reelected easily to Congress in San Francisco, having House majority that if the current polling holds, would get reelected. She's in a stronger political position than the president. Frankly, this is a president who defied everyone when he won in 2016. I think that's undergirded everything he thinks, that people said I'd lose and I didn't. People think Nancy Pelosi's tough and she isn't. I don't think he had a perfect understanding of how she approaches this job when he got it.
Donna, what do you think?
Well, look, I know Speaker Pelosi. I've worked directly under her on a leadership team. I think she certainly understands what her power is, and I think the president really has not counted on having an opposition party in the House, and he's not prepared for that. But the fact is, the government really does have to get reopened, and I think at the end of the day, the president is going to be invited to a joint session of Congress, but it's going to be after the government opens and things get put back in their natural order.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.